Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today I'm here to do a Friday reads, and I haven't done a Friday reads for a couple of months now, I believe. The last time I did that was way before Christmas. And the reason for me not having posted any Friday reads is I've been really busy, especially on the Fridays. For some reason I haven't really had time to go home and film before I had to go anywhere else. And so today we're going to be combining my Friday reads with my TBR for the two readathons that I'm participating in this month, and that is TBR Takedown and the AYEARATHON. So I'm gonna get into those books later, because right now I'm gonna focus on the books that I'm currently working on, and that is Third Grave, Dead Ahead by Dorinda Jones, the third book to the Charlie Davidson series. I'm pretty close to be finished with that. I think I have an hour or something left. I didn't listen to a lot of it today because I wasn't in my own car for work. I had to get my car fixed because there are some things I had to get changed on it, because it's been driving for over 100,000 kilometers now, and so things had to get changed, so it didn't get ruined or anything. So I borrowed a car from those people and so I've handed it back and picked up my own car again, because I couldn't deal with not having my own car for the whole weekend. But because of that I didn't listen to a lot of the audio today. But I am pretty sure I'll be finishing it tomorrow, because I will be doing some cleaning around the house, and for that I like to listen to an audio while I do that. So it's pretty neat. And the other book that I'm also working on, I actually tried to start on a book, No Rest for the Wicked by Leslie Cole, but decided to put it down because, not that I didn't want to read it, because I can't really say anything about it because I only read the first chapter and the prologue, so I don't have any reasons except it was to be read for a specific group challenge that I'm participating in, called the SOS Bookshelf Bingo, where there's a new shelf picked every week, and I'm a little behind on that, so I need to remedy that. But I found out that I could use one of my library books for the same shelf, so I switched it to be Flesh and Blood by Kristen Painter, and so I've started on this last night and I'm 44 pages into it, so I've completed a prologue and 2 chapters, so not a lot, but I'm hoping to get a lot of it read over the weekend. It's a bit of a chunkster, so we'll see if I'm able to finish it. I hope that I will be, because it's a pretty large font, so I should be able to read it pretty fast. The most annoying thing about these books is that it gives me the perspectives from the villain. It also did that in the first book, and that's just something about reading from a villain's perspective. I never really root for a villain, so I don't really care much about it, so I end up skimming those sections and then only stay focused on the sections with like the heroine and the male protagonist, who also has his own point of view, and sometimes there's also a point of view from one of the other side characters. So I'm gonna I love reading from those perspectives, but I really don't like reading from Sapphire or something, and she's a horrible person and just really whiny and cruel in a lot of ways, and so I don't really want to, yeah. But otherwise, I'm enjoying the book so far. But it's hard to tell with only being 50 pages in. But this is my main focus for the weekend with the audio. I don't think I need more books for the weekend. So now I want to smoothly get into my TBR for both of the readathons. Now, as I said, both of the readathons are taking place from the 6th until the 12th, which is from this Monday until Sunday next week. And for the AYEARATHON, the theme for this month is retellings. But for TBR Takedown, there are also 5 challenges, so I'll try to fit in as many retellings into those challenges. And for the others, I'll have to pick some other books. And then we'll see. And if I end up finishing these books, I'd like to sort of add other retellings to the mix. But for the TBR Takedown challenges, the first one is, it has to have been on my TBR shelf for over a year, and I could read, like, I recently downloaded the ebook of One for the Radio by Janet Ivanovich, which is the first book in a Stephanie Plum series, from my library ebook, and I have 21 days to read it. I don't know if I'm going to try and get to that, and it has been on my Goodreads TBR for over a year at least. I don't know when I exactly added it, but I think it was in 2014. But if it has to be like from my own shelf, I also want to listen to an audio. So I have Loyalty in Death, which is book 9 in the In Death series, and I've had this particular collection on my TBR shelf for I think 2 years now, and I've read the first 3 of them. But I read Conspiracy in Death, which is book 8, in early February last year. I finished it then. So I put this back on the shelf, and the next book has sort of been on my shelves for a year, so it definitely works from that shelf. So I think I may also be getting to this because I love this series so much, and it's just such a nice narrator. And so I'm going to be trying to listen to this while I'm commuting to and from work, and then we'll see how far I get. And yeah, I really love these books. And if you have not yet read these books, I would highly recommend them, but more about that in my wrap-up, I believe. The second challenge for the TBR Takedown is read a book from your most recent haul. A couple of weeks ago, I purchased 3 books at the same time. One of them I'd already read, and the other one is there, actually. But that's not the one I want to read now. I'm gonna go with Fire Study by Marie Snyder, this last and final book to the Study trilogy, which will also fit in with Catch Up on a series, which is the 4th challenge on this list. So it covers 2 of the challenges, and that fits really well since I'm also going to be having to add some retellings into the mix. So definitely a book that I want to get to in next week. The first book in the series, I have 2 books to choose from that are both retellings. I believe they're both the first in the series. This one is the first book to the Wrath and the Dawn duology, and yeah, this is a retelling of The Arabian Nights. I have not yet read this book, and it was on my TBRTAKEDOWN TBR as well. So, and I didn't get to it. So I feel like it's a nice book to get sort of take with me as well to this readathon. The other one is The Shattered Queen by CJ Redwine, which is a retelling of Snow White. And I really like the cover. I think it's pretty stunning. So simple, but definitely also deathly and poisonous at the same time. I'm definitely looking forward to reading this, and I think it will be pretty quick. I like the texture of this paperback. It's quite nice. It's not the best kind, but it's getting there. Anyway, those were the first book to a series that I can pick between. I also actually have another first book in the series, but that is one I'm gonna add to my comfort zone. And you know what? It's not that you would usually be out of my comfort zone to read this, because this is a book by my favorite author. So you should think, well, one of my favorite authors, and you will think this is not going to be out of my comfort zone. But I've just heard so many mixed reviews of this book, and I love her other series so much. I've either 5-star rated the whole series, or maybe there's been one book that I didn't like. And then I also have one book that I was sort of meh about, but there was only one book, and now the book that I'm talking about is The Glittering Court by Rachel Mead. And I don't know if it's cheating to pick this, but it is a book that I'm pretty intimidated by, and it's been standing on my shelf for so long because I always skip it because I'm afraid of being disappointed. But I also just want to get to this so I can get the next book when it will be released in a couple of months. So this is the first book to the Glittering Court trilogy. Is that what it's called? Obviously, I loved The Vampire Academy. I loved Bloodlines equally as much as Vampire Academy, which I seem to think is most people only think that Vampire Academy is like up there, and Bloodlines is kind of lacking behind. But to me, Sydney and Adrian were just as strong characters, main characters, as Rose and Dimitri. So yeah, both very lovely characters. And then I have Georgina Kincaid, which is one of my favorite female characters of all time. And I also enjoyed The Dark Swan for the most part. There's only some issues with it with the last book. And then I thought Soundless was okay. And now I don't know if I'm gonna hate this one because I've heard so many very negative things about it. And I don't want it to cloud my own opinions when I go into it. So that is why this is really intimidating and out of my comfort zone right now. But if this doesn't work, I could probably find something else like... because I also have the Kite Runner, which is also out of my comfort zone because I never usually read like classic books, or this is not actually a classic, I believe, but sort of literary fiction is not something I read a lot of. But I was enjoying the first like pages I read. I haven't really read on from it, but I want to read this in February anyway, so. But I just really want to read this one right now, except it scares me. So these are the like out of my comfort zone books. And then I think those were the challenges for the TBR Takedown. And if I also really wanted to have a short story collection, and so I have Where the Little White Rabbit short story collection. It features, at least it features stories from Alice in Wonderland, so this fits in with the retelling. And the final book that I also have that I could get to if I'm cool and I read all these books, and that is Crest by Marissa Meyer, the third book to the Lunar Chronicles series. I loved Scarlet so much when I read it in December, and so I'm ready to get into Crest. We'll see if I get to this because it's quite a chunkster, and that's why I haven't added it to my next in series, because it's like super big. What is it? 600 pages, close to 600 pages. I don't really like this paperback. It's kind of annoying. It doesn't seem like it'll break the spine because it seems like it will fold here, so that's nice. So the spine doesn't get broken. Those are the books on my TBRs for these two readathons, and if I don't get to all of these books, I'll definitely take the retelling books along for the next coming weeks. And I also, yeah, so that's sort of my plan. Apart from reading for the weekend, I don't really know if I have any plans. I am gonna go visit my parents this evening, as I often do on Fridays, because that's the day it fits the most. And it was usually the day of the week when we got together as a family, sort of having a nice evening in, when we also all of us lived at home. So on Saturday we'll spend the day time with our friends and stuff, so I like that. But this is my very tall TBR for next week, and I'm not gonna get through them all, I already know that, but it's nice to have a good stack of books to choose between, so that you have also some sort of different genres and stuff. So we'll see how I'll be doing for that. I'm definitely looking forward to being back with TBR Takedown. I've once before been participating in that, but I've never participated in the AYEARATHON, so this will be the first time I participate in that. So I'm really looking forward to that, so I hope that I will fail too horribly with the AYEARATHON. But let me know in the comments down below if you'll be participating in any of these readathons, and what are your plans for the weekend? Do you have any interesting books that you're going to be reading for the weekend? Let me know about that as well. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!